welcome to the Global Challenges Foundation. I'm Waldemar Ingdahl, Communications Officer at the Foundation, and today we discuss with Robert Blecher as a Chief Strategy Officer at the International Crisis Group about the International Crisis Group's work and their collaboration with the Global Challenges Foundation. Robert, it's so good to have you here to talk with you. How would you describe the activity of the International Crisis Group?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to speak with you today. Crisis Group, mission of International Crisis Group is to prevent, mitigate, and resolve conflict. We've been doing that for about 25 years through a combination of fieldwork, analysis, and high-level advocacy. Everything we do begins at the field level. For most of the last 25 years, we've been doing that through a fairly conventional political methodology. But over the last several years, looking at the changes in the conflict landscape, the changes in the media landscape, the changes in the policymaking landscape, changes in the climate landscape, it's become obvious to me that to the whole organization, that we need to include new elements when we think about conflict. And climate has become one of those key areas that we've begun to look at.
So you describe a change to include also ideas like global catastrophic risk and how it increases the risk for conflicts, for instance. Describe the actions or the projects that you wanted to make and that made you, seek out the contact and start discussing with the Global Challenges Foundation.
Yeah. Well, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to overlay with our political analysis and our mapping of political fragility, trying to overlay that with mapping of climate fragility, so that we really get a more precise sense of how very specific kinds of climate risks interact with specific kinds of political fragility. And that's really where we see the worst case outcomes, right? Politics really do matter in the climate space, and climate really matters in the politics space. So we've been really working hard to try to figure out how to overlay these two kinds of analysis. We've done that through any number of ways with the support of the foundation. We've had expert workshops and convenings. We've undertaken new kinds of research involving cutting-edge climate science. We have new multimedia outputs that are appropriate to the new content that we're doing. And we're pushing that through high-level advocacy at the highest of levels, the White House, the UN Security Council. So there's been a lot of good uptake to the new approaches.
So Robert, what did you see exactly in the Global Challenges Foundation that could make these actions possible?
Well, I mean, there are a lot. I think starting from the very beginning, we talked to the foundation even before we launched our new climate change initiative. So I think there was really some thought partnership there, helping us figure out what we wanted to do and where we wanted to do it. The networking that goes along with that to help us establish connections in the climate space, because we were new to the area. And then, of course, the financing, of course, helps. I mean, putting those three things together, it really helped us get our climate work off the ground.
So if you were to name three benefits that you think came out of the cooperation between the International Crisis Group and the Global Challenges Foundation, what would those three things be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really those three things. The thought partnership, right? Like I would say that our work in the climate space has been co-conceived with the Global Challenges Foundation. Trying to find this area where climate and politics overlap, and looking at resilience, the role of government in buffering the effects of climate change in certain places, and the role and how we can get involved in order to make sure that both the risks of catastrophic climate risk and catastrophic political risk are seen together in the same lens. The second piece, the networking, who's important to talk to in the space, who the leaders are. With a very political organization moving into the climate space, we needed the experience that the Global Challenges Foundation has. And third, of course, there are some very specialized skills and techniques that are necessary to get this work off the ground. We have really invested in the climate science just as we have granular field-based analysis on the political side, we thought it was important to match that with granular climate science on the climate side, so that we would have our expertise in politics would be matched by our expertise in climate. And that is really what GCF has facilitated for us.
It seems like there are some quite good opportunities here and possibilities for new work. What do you see in the future, in the near future, could come out of a further collaboration?
Well, I mean, we hope to deepen the collaboration by being able to expand this emerging model that we've created of the very granular mapping of political and climate risks together, which is it's difficult, painstaking work, and we've started doing so in a number of places. We've looked at Nigeria, we've looked at South Sudan. We're expanding to some other places, especially in the Horn, but also more broadly in Africa. But when you're looking at local risk, everything has to be done locally. So we're hoping to generalize this model with the support of GCF. Because the more granular you can go on the ground, the more convincing you can be when you're speaking to the high level folks. So that's the model that we've established with your help, and we hope to broaden and deepen it.
It sounds very interesting. Thank you, Robert. I hope that we've been giving our viewers a good insight of our common activities, and more interviews and new insights of our stakeholders are coming up. Thank you.
Thank you.